Do you know how many people believe that education is free in Sweden? And because of that, they choose to take on so much student debt that they are stuck in the country for decades and have to pay it off for years. I have friends that are completely normal Swedish middle-class kids, right? Grew up thinking that college is a place where you can find yourself. So just hopped around a bunch of university educations because they thought that education is free in Sweden. So never really thought too much about how, like, oh, wait a minute, this thing here, this bill that's coming every month now that I'm done with my education, that means it wasn't free. No. CSN is a debt plan. People think that they're not taking on debt when they go to university and waste their time. Now you tell me, who benefits from that? Certainly not the person going to the university, right? You might want to say, oh, well, people should be more responsible for themselves. Why don't you try saying institutions should stop brainwashing people instead, huh? I don't get how this social Darwinism that pops up every time it's comfortable really speaks to the better of mankind, you know? I think that people should be well informed that education is never free. It's a creepy trade-off with government entities, and it doesn't pay off. It creates all of these peace-damaged, useless millennials that are traumatized by real work and would be completely unfit to serve in a war. So if you ask me, the idea that education is free pretty much stops men from becoming men, and pretty much dismantles a national defense by creating a bunch of coddled, peace-damaged morons. That's what too big government does.
Even worse is the sheer gambling with your future. During times of economic recession, meaning right now, interest gets more intense. Shalom. So that means that your student loan gets a bit multiplied and you end up taking it even harder up the ass in this never-ending financial bondage. Unlike everyone else that's just freaking out at the end of the world, I have never been happier that I'm a complete loser right now. I am so happy. I never even graduated basic high school and I couldn't even be happier about it because I don't own shit. So there's nothing you can rob me of. Think about it, the biggest losers in this current climate is the middle class that cared too much and bought into the social myths. Meanwhile, your average bipolar junkie is doing just fine. He's already used to sleeping on a mattress, and nothing but a mattress. So in regards to him, things have never quite been peachier. Do you know what's funny about our so-called far right-wing, super right-wing current government that was supposed to save Sweden? Yeah, no, they just doubled this interest instead, just to stick a greasy rod further and further up your inconspicuous shithole. That's how right-wing they are. You don't exactly have to be a hardcore libertarian to understand that there is no such thing as a free government handout. By using the term free, the government implies that these benefits come without any cost, when in reality, they are funded by hardworking taxpayers. And these hardworking taxpayers are gonna get shafted double if they believe that the stuff that their taxes are going towards is actually free, because then they go there, use them, and end up in debt. So when I look at Argentina's new president, I just wish something similar could happen in Sweden. In this country, the average citizen pays 70% in taxes, and yet they are completely unaware of it. I tried to talk to Swedish people about this, and they'll pretend like that sword going up their ass slowly and deep is the most boring topic they've ever come across. Well, if you ask Finnish people, I'm sure that's for a reason. They know a lot about Swedes. Now, I'm not even gonna pretend that I can spell this guy's name, or pronounce it. Yeah, I meant both. In addition to shutting down tons of government facilities that he deems unnecessary, and firing over 5,000 government workers with fake jobs, Argentina's new president decided to put a ban on anyone who wants to claim that tax-funded state services are free. The latter is what I'm gonna be focusing on here, since this particular phrasing is extremely important and represents a systematic error in many modern civilizations. Whether you are left or right, you should acknowledge that this is basically a ban on lying through your teeth as a bureaucrat. State services paid for using taxes might be free of charge in the sense that they exist, and they're there, but that doesn't mean that it's free. That means that it's easy to use something, and the cost for that is the hidden contract of signing up for a loan. This is also known as politics, the art of having people buy into something that they're not aware of. Now, obviously, I can't talk about what's happening in Argentina, even though I just did. But I can attest political transparency is the most important part about politics, and that is something primarily made up in the language of politicians. When you don't have transparency in how resources are being treated, when you don't have that level of blunt communication, all that happens is that the average citizen wastes their life, their time, their many years, their potential, and their financial prosperity all right into the trash because they bought into a system they never should have been sold, nor believed in to begin with. And all I can say is that I really feel bad for these people. All of the people who actually tried, unlike me, and all of the people who ever gave a shit, unlike me. All those people are gonna be so angry at what's to come in the coming future and how they're about to get robbed during a recession. Those people I actually feel really bad about. But nobody should feel bad about me because I don't own shit. Get the hint, ka-ching? Given what's gonna happen to currency all over the world, I think I prefer a donation in Bitcoin. You feel me? The observation I come here to share in this video, the greater point, is that there are two major lies we all grew up with here in the West, particularly. Number one, school is a place that exists for your personality to be developed. It's not a place meant to turn you into a stupid cog. No, 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 no. School is where you can find yourself, and it's just completely irrelevant that finding yourself has the end result of financial bondage, often for the majority of your life. I'm sorry, but did nobody ask consent for that eternal cock cage that they put you in? And number two, the other major lie is that everyone tries to make you feel like there's something wrong with filthy, gritty, hard work. The kind of shit that our dads grew up with. While our Western societies are obsessed with prestige, high social status, and university as a symbol for intelligence and success, everyone is ignoring the fact that we primarily need filthy, greasy men who barely know how to maintain clean underwear because they're willing to get so dirty for society to operate and not crumble apart.
Look, the people you are after are the people you depend on. We cook your meals, we haul your trash, we connect your calls, we drive your ambulances, we guard you while you sleep. Do not fuck with us.
While everyone else is focusing on becoming a super educated specialist in a field that may or may not exist after graduation, no one seems to notice the market value in being a plumber, or a carpenter, or a car mechanic. Since nobody wants to work with operating human feces, or making sure that toilets work, or making sure cars can run smooth when getting their hands greasy, since no one wants to contribute to houses being built, these working class men are the ones who have the power to start up their own company and become really rich through their sheer natural born autism. Since the market is hardly competing with them enough, that drives up the value of their utmost crucial services. If I had a child, I wouldn't tell him to go to college, I'd tell him to be a plumber. Nowadays, everyone is just focused on being an evil nerd, a wannabe Bill Gates who thinks that their brain is such a virtuous gift to the world, yet they can barely wipe their own ass anyway while they're living their life in front of a computer with a Cheetos collection. If you care so much about being rich, then go do something dirty. If you care about money, you probably shouldn't go to a university where you end up spending a lot of it, unless you have a really focused goal in mind within a practical field that will still be highly relevant 10 years from now. If you want to be a doctor or an engineer, good luck. But if you want to work with philosophy or art, you're probably going to end up being both pretentious and poor. All I'm saying is, don't buy into the hype. Don't just blindly follow the mainstream. Follow your heart. Your actual heart. Not your novelty-seeking behavior that gets you off. Not your ego that keeps you comfortable. Not your dreams made up of desires, but your actual consideration for other people. And once you do, you may actually find what unique thing it is that you can offer other people that very few others have to offer. The thing that turns you into both a valuable worker and a valuable member of society. Someone who actually took a look at the world and thought, what can I do for other people? And maybe then you realize, hey, nobody wants to fix toilets, and I don't mind the smell of shit, I'm on it. Hey, nobody wants to clean up crime scenes because bodies that have been decomposing for a while tend to, they get stuck if someone offed themselves in a tub. That's not a scene you want to walk into after a few weeks. But maybe you don't care, Mr. Sociopath. Maybe you would just be perfect for this. Or you realize, hey, nobody understands how to fix computers, and I'm so autistic it smells, so I'm just gonna skip that lifelong depth and just start up my own company and tell people I'm a specialist. Nobody needs to know I'm self-taught. They need to know what I can offer. Or maybe if you're a migrant in Sweden, you realize, well, nobody's that good at growing cannabis anyway, so let's be honest, I see a lot of room for potential here. All jokes aside, I think you understand what my point is here. Get to know yourself. Really get to know yourself. First, outside of school, and maybe then school doesn't have to ruin your life. Maybe then you may find out what a waste of time it is and what your actual potential is, but no matter what you do, just don't be sucked into the oh-so-temporary trends of the people walking into a single direction. And don't be fooled by the many lies of the system. Instead, take your critical mind that no one sees to appreciate, look at the flaws of the system, and get creative with how you can be an aid that fills in the gaps that other people are lacking. That is how you truly become a specialist, by looking deep into yourself.